Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to HealthyEqualsHeal-Thy podcast, where we have uncomfortable conversations in order to expand our minds, to ignite healing and growth on our own individual journeys to becoming our greater selves. On today's episode, we will be discussing toxic nature of pretty privilege, the attack on Black girl magic. Speaking from my own experience, growing up in my city, it was hot and cool breezes was nowhere to be found during the summers. At my grandmother's house, all the light-skinned grandkids had access to go inside the house as they pleased. And the others, like myself, was locked out on the front porch with one cooler of water, and we basically had to fend for ourselves for the day. If we asked for anything else, you know what we was granted? We was granted the pleasures of going to the tree to pick our own switch to be whipped with, because there was no respect and no regard for us because of our skin colors. In our own family household, my grandmother suffered from colorism. She was color struck, and she believed that the lighter your skin, the better you were to society and to the culture. And it was not right. The separation continues. It's time for Black culture to be balanced. It's time for everyone to wake up and be aware of what's really going on. It's time to escape the puppet master that has integrated and hidden segregation in plain sight right in the middle of the Black community. No, they are no longer white-only signs posted up for bathroom usage or hovering over a water fountain in the park. But segregation in the Black community is true. The light-skinned girls against the dark-skinned girls, and quite frankly, I'm sick of it. I've never once heard someone walk up to a beautiful light-skinned girl and tell her, "Oh my God, you are so beautiful for being a light-skinned," or "You're so beautiful for a red bone." No. It's a guarantee that if you are light-skinned, the society will see you as beautiful. Which, yes, all Black is beautiful, but where is the respect for the Black and brown girls? You see a pretty dark-skinned girl, most likely someone will walk up to her and say, "Wow, you're beautiful for a dark-skinned girl." No, why can't she just be beautiful for being a beautiful woman? It's sickening. And to cross over to the next topic with pretty privilege, as well as for a plus size woman. You never hear someone walk up to someone and say, "Wow, you're so beautiful." If you're plus size, trust me, they're not going to let you forget about it. "Wow, you're so beautiful for a plus size girl. Why can't she just be beautiful?" So the point that I'm making, the toxic nature of pretty privilege does exist. Because if you're not light-skinned, if you're not Caucasian or other race, there's going to be a stipulation added on to you being beautiful. You're going to be identified into a group opposed to other women. Like I said, you are beautiful for a dark-skinned girl. That is like a compliment, but you're insulting me at the same time. So you're telling me that because I'm darker skinned, it's a phenomenon. I'm a unicorn because I'm beautiful? No, all Black is beautiful, and it needs to be respected as such. And the toxic nature of pretty privilege come in because it causes a divide in the Black community, because the lighter skinned girls are put on this pedestal. And because they're on this pedestal, they feel like they are better instead apart. And granted, you could be beautiful, true enough, but don't everyone have something about them that is beautiful? They do say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But come on now, let's get to a point to where we're respecting each other without adding on those generations of putting someone in a box. Stop telling dark-skinned girls you're beautiful for a dark skin. Stop telling plus-size women you're beautiful for a fat girl. You're beautiful for a big girl. Stop doing that. Just give them the compliment and keep it moving. It's like you're giving the compliment and you're taking it back because you're identifying something that I am and throwing it out there like I'm not supposed to be beautiful because I'm dark skinned, or I'm not supposed to be beautiful because I'm plus size. Just cut it out. If you want to give the compliment, give it and keep it moving. Now, granted, when you do look a certain type of way, you're polished and all of those things, you do have the benefit of people treating you differently. Rather your complexion, rather your size. If you put yourself together, the world tends to like to look at beautiful things. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just don't like or appreciate the toxic nature of it all. We have to get to a point to where we're respecting one another. Growing up, childhood traumas of dealing with cousins and aunts and seeing all this unfold basically in front of me, get treated differently because of their skin color, that could damage a person early on in life, and it carries on into adulthood. But if we change the culture around what's going on with the colorism in the Black community, I feel like we could rise up, we could elevate, and we could balance out our culture. We already as a people have enough oppression. It's time for us to liberate ourselves and focus on what really matters. And that's overcoming the things in society to where we are in a better place mentally, physically, and emotionally. But if we continue to tear each other down, how can we even reach the point to where we have togetherness? I say that we have segregation in the Black community because when you have light skins against dark skins, it's going to cause a conflict of interest because we're supposed to be for one another and we're supposed to build each other up. But if there's jealousy, if there's envy at the baseline, how do you get past that? And this is not something that's just created just off the whim, off the blue. It's taught. It's taught growing up. I know at least for in my family, it was taught that if they have lighter skin, they're better than you. And that is just horrible. That is an awful way to raise a child. Even in today's media, it's getting a little better. You can see dark-skinned girls on the runway, and you can see beautiful girls that's of a darker complexion in the videos and on the TVs and on commercials. True enough. But we have to do more. We have to get beyond the fact that in the African American community, light-skinned women are treated at a different regard than darker-skinned women. And yes, we have evolved somewhat, but we still have a long ways to go. If we all make the decision to say that we are going to work towards building more awareness towards this topic, and we're going to respect one another and show everyone the respect and regard that they need as a human being, no matter the skin color, that would be a beautiful day in the world. Once we start limiting each other's beliefs and limiting each other on what is beautiful and what is not, and just respect each other as who we are as individuals, the world would be such a more better place. More light will be in the world. We have to stop tearing each other down. Our community is in desperate need of togetherness. And it's time for us to come together. It's time for us to focus. And it's time for us to really recognize the attack for what it is. The attack is the separation. If we cannot come together as other cultures do, we will always remain in this stagnant position of no progress. It is time to escape the attack. It is time to wake up wide awake, open your eyes and see what's going on, band together and move forward towards prosperity, generational wealth, breaking generational curses, breaking down the bondage, and saying that we are one, we will stand together. No one is better than the next, and let's work together to bring up our entire community. And that is my problem with the toxic nature of pretty privilege, is because certain individuals are put on a pedestal that's in the exact same community as you are, but because they feel like they're better, they have no regard for you. And no, this is not everyone, but it's too many people with this, and it's time to change the narrative. It's 2022, and this year is extremely imperative and important for everyone in the Black community. So really wake up, to rise up in power, and know who you are. Know who you are created to be. There has been an attack on our culture, on our race from the beginning of time. And it's time to switch that narrative. It's time to change. We all are beautiful in our own rights. Yes, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I behold that everyone is beautiful in their own right, and that is my opinion, and that is what I'm sticking to. Black culture needs balance. Not yesterday, not the day before, not 3 hours before. Right now, in this moment, we must stand up and balance out the way that we feel for one another, the way that we assist one another, and the way that we love and promote one another. It's time to do better, Black people. It's time to raise up out of the negative narrative that has been projected onto our culture for the longest. Finding little different things in society to put us against one another. Pretty privilege being one of them. I know no other race where someone will walk up to a woman and say, "Wow, you're beautiful," for a white woman, or "You're beautiful to be an Indian woman." You do not hear those things. It's time to see that the puppet master have tried so long to control the narrative of our society, of our culture. I don't see no other race that's being dictated on like that, that's being manipulated in plain sight to be against one another. At some point, we all have to make the decision to say it's time for us to be strengthened, and it's time for us to stick together, because that's the only way that we are going to have a relief away from the narrative that has been pushed onto our culture, onto our community. Black people, Black Americans are the only people who have nowhere to go home. The Indian people can go back to India. The Caucasian people, hell, they travel all over the world, go wherever they desire to go. But African American people, where exactly is home? It's time for us to create something for ourselves, to stand for ourselves and understand the power that we have within, and that we will be way more, and we will exceed expectations, and we will go entirely further in life if we stick together and if we stop putting one another above one another. Nobody is better, nobody is greater, but when we come together as one, we cannot be defeated. Let go of the divide and let's focus on togetherness. Let's focus on stepping outside of oppression, escaping it, and be aware of all the distractions that's placed before us to keep us stagnant. It's time to do better and to rise up as a people and to be who we were here to create, who we were created to be. It's time to stand strong and firm in who we are. And we can only do that if we step away from the stigma that light skin is better than dark skin, and that dark skin doesn't matter, and that is just tolerated. We have to step away from that and understand that we are all beautiful and we all have Black girl magic, but we have to realize the attack on it, and we have to be aware and come back in defense and know that we are going to stand together no matter what. Hello, beautiful people. You have just experienced the Healthy Equals Heal-Thy podcast, where we do have uncomfortable conversations in order to expand our minds, to push us on our own unique journeys to becoming our greater selves. I would like to thank each and every one of you who did tune into this week's episode, and I definitely hope to see you back next week on Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where a new episode will be provided every week on Fridays. I want each and every one of you to know that you are absolutely beautiful, and you are definitely worthy of living the life that you desire to live. And once again, I want you to understand that you are worthy to smile. So don't forget to smile today, because you are definitely deserving to. And until next time, my loves, I am signing off for now, and I will see each and every one of you next week, Friday.